Just in case you need a reminder, there's 19 shopping days left until Christmas. It's been a tough couple of years for retailers, with businesses forced in and out of lockdown, of course, during the pandemic. And just as things started to turn around, the Reserve Bank, of course, has gone on a rate hike spree, deliberately squeezing consumer spending power. Another rise is expected tomorrow, taking the cash rate to a 10-year high of over 3%. Let's find out if there's much Christmas cheer around the shops this year. Paul Zahra is the CEO of the Australian Retailers Association. Thanks for joining us, Paul. Tell us, first up, how things are looking in terms of our retail spend just at the moment.
Well, look, it's looking actually pretty good despite the cost of living pressures that each household's currently suffering. In fact, coming out of the Black Friday sales, we predicted and forecasted that Australians would spend about $6.2 billion, which is $200 million on last year, which is a 3% increase. And in fact, what Australians did do, they spent over $7 billion in that one weekend. So it gives us a really positive view leading into the all-important Christmas trading period. Today, we've just updated our forecasts. In fact, our forecasts for Christmas have gone up by another $2 billion, reaching $66 billion, which will be a record in the country in the history of Christmas sales.
Yeah, it's great news. Is this? Do we feel that is the expectation here, the assessment, that there's a couple of years of pent-up spending, of course, where people weren't travelling around as much, weren't going on holidays, were staying at home because of lockdowns and COVID restrictions and whatever, so people have got a bit of money stashed away and they're keen to get out and spend it this Christmas?
Well, this is it, Chris. So that's exactly what's happening. So we're seeing that consumers are really positive about Christmas. This is the first Christmas that most Australians would have had for what it's been 3 years now, where they're not on a Zoom call, they're able to travel, they are looking at celebrating with family and friends. Obviously, too, we've got a low unemployment rate, and of course, most of us have jobs. Those of us that want jobs, there are jobs. There are 46,000 vacancies currently in the retail industry alone. I think there's over 500,000 vacancies across the country. So what we're seeing is that people are, whilst they're working, they're happy to spend. And of course, we did cash up through the pandemic because we were limited on what we could do, and we're seeing people, drawing on their savings now and using that money to celebrate Christmas and celebrate their freedom.
And that's the trouble, though, of course, because people are spending. That in fact, that it encourages the Reserve Bank to think that they're not having enough of a squeeze on people, that inflation is still running rampant, and that encourages them to increase interest rates until we really do feel the pain.
Well, that is a concern. So the message of the Reserve Bank really is, in fact, in those increases are also the price increases. So what we know in our latest update on our forecast is that some of that's also driven by price increases, which is where we're seeing that particularly in the areas of food, which grocery and supermarkets. In hospitality, we're seeing nearly $2 billion more in spend to last year, purely because, of course, this Christmas we can get out and about and be able to experience life. But there is price increases in there. So, the Reserve Bank can't just look at the overall increase in retail spend and think that's all being banked easily, because, of course, there's price increases in there. So we are feeling that squeeze. Cost of living pressures, cost of doing business pressures, these will all hit as we tighten our belts, I think, in 2023.
Thanks for joining us, Paul. Happy shopping.